Order.
And Dominican.
Yeah, we're gonna make it run.
We have a lot of everything. I think it's a pretty.
Okay, well, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Could we have a roll call, please?
Dr. Victor Gooden,
Right here.
Derek Harris,
Here.
Harry Lloyd,
Here.
Larry McDermott, Bob Rand,
Here.
Keith Norden, Nancy Kiefer. Here. Katrina Frio,
Here.
and that's it for the roll call.
Okay, very good. So we,
No, we've got Christos Mavronos.
Christos Mavronis is not present.
Okay.
He should-
However, Mr. Chairman, for the record, I will let you know that Christos and Carol both contacted me before the meeting to let me know they would not be here, so
Very good.
it's not an excuse, yes, it'll be an excused absence, not a missed meeting.
Very good. Let's go ahead and get approval for the minutes, and then we're going to do some introductions, okay?
Correct.
Could we have a motion to approve the minutes? They were sent out to.
A little comment. Last month, we did not have a quorum. So I think these minutes for that
Absolutely.
meeting should reflect that it wasn't an official meeting. We did have discussions, but we didn't have an official meeting.
I believe we are doing an approval for minutes for both meetings, September and October.
September, I agree with.
And so I guess why don't we do them separately? Right. Okay. Let's, can I have a motion to approve the September 20th meeting minutes?
Motion to approve September 20th.
Second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Let's move on to October 18th. We did not have a quorum.
Motion to approve for information.
Yeah, I was going to say, what we'll do is we will modify, put an amendment in the minutes that a quorum was not present
Right.
after the roll call.
Correct. Yeah, I just didn't want to give the impression that we'd had a normal meeting.
Right.
But we did discuss business and we had reports, so.
Okay, so
had
we don't
discussion.
need, there's no approval necessary. Okay. Okay.
No, I would go ahead and approve them with the amendment that staff
Okay.
has just put, and then that way then we're clear about it from,
Okay.
That's why I said for information.
Okay. Any further discussion?
let's make the motion to approve the minutes with the amendment that there was not a quorum present, please.
Just what he said.
Yeah. I like that.
Second?
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We have a new member on our committee, a new, actually, and we also have, well, let's start with Derek Harris. Derek, if you want to take a minute to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Derek Harris. I'm a pastor in the area. I'm also a business owner in the area. I am very, very interested in the development of the surrounding areas here and just making sure whatever I can do to serve. And I'm glad to be here.
All right, well, welcome.
All right.
Mr. Harris, what's your business?
I own Cutmasters Barbershop. I also have been pastoring Masters Domain Church of God in Christ for the last 28 years.
Wow. Very good. Very good. I know. We're in good hands here. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
Katrina, is this your first meeting with us?
This is not my first meeting. Since Helga left in April, I have been to 3 meetings, I think. This would be my 3rd meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to reports, Volusia County Economic Development. Katrina.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me to give a report from Volusia County Economic Development. I would like to let you know that we are currently going through the director's selection process for the Volusia County Economic Development Director's position, which has been vacant since April. Interviews are happening at this point, so it should be not too long in the near future that we have somebody filling that position. The other thing I would like to speak to you about today is Friday. We are having our quarterly Q breakfast Friday, November 17th at 7:30 a.m. Economist Jerry Parrish is going to be our keynote speaker. Dr. Parrish is the chief economist at the Metro Atlanta Chamber. He's also on the faculty at Florida State University, teaching in the Masters of Applied Economics program. He's been doing that for the past 11 years. He is also the former chief economist and director of research at the Institute of Government at Florida State University. Previous to that position, he was chief economist and director of research at the Florida Chamber Foundation. He is going to be delivering an economic outlook for 2024. I have some handouts here. There is a QR code so that you can watch the live stream, because these events are live stream. So if you would like to hand those out. One other thing I would like to call attention to is Economic Development, County Economic Development Division has programs to help support local businesses and businesses coming into the area. Those support programs can be found at floridabusiness.org. Select the Locate Here tab option on the top menu, and then select the Incentives option. Once again, that is floridabusiness.org.
Very good. Thank you. Team Volusia, Keith Norden, welcome.
Good morning. This is not my first
Yeah,
visit.
I think I remember you.
Well, I'm delighted to update the advisory board. We continue to be active. There are several projects that we are submitting final proposals to, some including the city of Daytona Beach, and we certainly appreciate that. And of course, we always rely on our partners at the Volusia County Division of Economic Development. So we really work as a seamless team, as Nancy can attest to, because we've actually won projects for the area by being the seamless team. We just returned, a staff member returned from a Select Florida event in Tampa, really specializing in hosting tax attorneys and tax consultants. Many of the site location projects require tax incentives and tax, and so Select Florida hosted a group of consultants in Tampa Bay. So we attended that this week. We continue to forge ahead with our strategic plan. We appreciate many of you participated in the interviews and surveys that went to our investor community as well as community partners. So we should get probably a first read of it early first quarter, and then it will be unveiled at our annual meeting, which will be held on March 7th at the Mori Husseini School for Hospitality at Daytona State College. Should be a great program. And then we are forging ahead with our application for accreditation. There are 5 EDOs, Economic Development Organizations in the state of Florida, that are accredited. Not that we're copying the great work of the Daytona Regional Chamber with the 5-star accreditation that they've had for years, but it is an important aspect of being viewed by the rest of the country as a EDO or an economic development organization that has actually done all that's required to be accredited. So we had to send up to IEDC in Washington about probably 2,000 or 3,000 pages of information on us, and we've gotten 5 or 6 questions of that, and we should schedule a visit in January, February. So hopefully we'll forge ahead with the accreditation and possibly have that announced at our annual meeting as well. So we're excited. Aviation and aerospace still continue to be focus for this region just because of its proximity to the Space Coast. We also are unveiling, we're also unveiling an FPL talent website for Volusia County. FPL has worked with DCI, one of the nation's top economic development public relations firms and marketing firms. And so we will be unveiling that at our December 15th Board of Directors meeting. So we're excited about that. Really gift to us, the county and Team Volusia, all of us, by Florida Power and Light.
So that is a talent. Can you explain it?
Talent recruit. It highlights the assets that we have. It highlights the employers. It lists employers that currently have job postings, a select number of employees. And it highlights, it's to work collaboratively with our respective websites, our own websites, but it highlights really the quality of life and the reason that folks would want to relocate here to Volusia County.
Very good. Very good. Any
Yes.
questions for Keith?
Keith, you touched on the accreditation. What are the criteria? What are they looking for you having done as an organization to earn this accreditation?
Well, it's project activity. It's the way the organization was structured. It's our leadership. We had to get letters of recommendation from community leaders. One is right to my left. But they wanted to make sure that we were perceived. And it really, if we are accredited, and there's still, it's a question, but really the largest regional groups of the state are accredited. Miami-Dade County, Palm Beach County, Tampa Bay, and just a few others. So it'll be a great asset for us. And then the larger metropolitan areas around the country.
How long have you been at this, trying to get this done?
Well, it's been in the budget for about 4 years, but we actually actively pursued it starting this year, this 2023. We had to update all of our organizational papers, bylaws, personnel policies. That was an 18-month process because of COVID. It started with COVID, updating everything, but they have so much information that it's taken them months to go through it. So we had to submit everything.
Thank you.
Professional CVs, organizational, everything, the makeup of our whole organization with investors, municipalities, all that. So it's been a huge undertaking, and Nancy's been through it a couple of times. I've had 2 organizations in the past accredited, so this will be my 3rd one. Thank
It's like
you.
a lot of fun, Keith.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet it is. All right, Nancy with the Daytona Regional Chamber.
And good morning. First of all, I'm pleased to announce that we actually have a new staff member who has assumed the role of Director of Advocacy. I've been wearing quite a few hats in the last few months. David Robinson recently joined us. He has relocated to this area from Tampa. He has a wealth of experience in campaign work, in grassroots advocacy, issue development. So we're really excited to welcome him to the team. And I know Bob's already met him. I don't know if Keith has had the opportunity yet, but we'll get him out and about, and he'll be representing our chamber very actively at the city council level, the county council level, and everything in between. So we're excited to have a new and a very friendly face on our staff, and he's going to do a great job. From an activity standpoint, coming up November 28th, we have our candidate boot camp. This is a day-long activity we run with anybody who's filed to run for office. It has an interest in running for office. It's free. And we bring in Lisa Lewis to talk about, how to campaign, the laws, the reports, everything, so that they can go out there and do this properly without any problems. Political consultants, campaign managers, city managers, former elected officials that really walk them through, know what you're getting into. And it's a really eye-opening day. And we have really good representation this year from people who are running at the county, the city, and a lot of school board candidates that will be in this. So it'll be a very interesting day, November 28th, all day long. We're still open for registration. Again, we personally reach out to those who have filed, but there's a lot of people that are considering running for office, and we also welcome them. It's just purely giving us a call and getting registered. I'm excited to announce that we have a partnership program with Team Volusia called Market Watch coming up on December 5th. That is a breakfast program where we bring in an economist from Bank of America to look at things on a macro level, what we can expect, as we move forward, looking at the economy, and then we bring it down home and we talk about a couple of different industries. And this year we're focusing on the high-tech corridor and Space Florida. And Keith has been really involved in the planning for that. But it's a great event. It's a breakfast. I think it's at Embry-Riddle. Yeah, it's able. Thank you. I'm glad they know where my events are better than I do. Might be the 3 hats I'm wearing right now. But that again opened, and it's really a good program. It's highly attended, and we get a lot of good information. Unfortunately, last year, as we were told that the economy was going to be tough this year, he was right on, even though it wasn't the message I wanted to hear. I told him to tell the truth. So it'll be an interesting to see how this year is shaping up as well, looking into the future. December 18th, we have a new event called Tapping Into Issues. We're actually going to bring in Representative Tom Leek just to give us a state of politics. What's going on in our state, how's things going on, what's going on nationally that's affecting our state. A real informal but fun activity, 3 to 5 on December 18th. That is also on the books and ready to happen. Just a couple of things I'll give you an update on. Harry and I chatted a little bit when we came in. We are in month 8 of our renovation of our chamber building. It has been a fun project to watch, and I think what's important for this group and for the community to understand is we're adding a lot of training space to our building that will be open and usable not only during chamber office hours, but after hours. It'll be totally secured so that community groups can come in, code in, and use the space that they need. So we're excited about how that's all progressing. And I also will just make one other mention here. We are on record as the Chamber of Commerce for supporting the Silver Beach Hotel Condo Project. I bring it up for a couple of reasons. One is I do think it's important that we signal to the community that we're open for business. And I think, at times it's really difficult when we look at companies coming in. If we send too many messages out there, stop, 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 we don't want anything, I can guarantee you it echoes out throughout. So I just wanted to, let people know that we will be, obviously communicating that with our city commission. We've already communicated that to the planning board, and we'll continue to follow up on developments we think are going to be making a difference in our community, whether it be aesthetics, jobs, messaging out there that we really are a great place to do business.
It's going to be interesting to see because I'm going to compare notes with The Economist speaking Friday, and then when I come to your event, to the Market Watch, to see what The Economist says there. 2 economists are saying the same thing then.
Yeah, I know Jerry very, very well.
Yeah.
So,
He's a great
entertaining.
speaker. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Nancy. Anything else? Jeff, economic and strategic opportunities.
So you saw the TRT report for October. We only had 10, actually there were 11. One of them was a repeat project, so I did not include that in our discussion. It is worth noting that 2 of the meetings were canceled due to no projects being proposed. I hope that's just an anomaly. Although for the month of November, I know we've already had 1, and yesterday we only had 2 applicants in. So I think that the effect on the economy here locally, I think, is starting to be felt. And we're starting to see that with a slowdown, even though I hate to say that. We are working on a project with both Volusia County and Team Volusia for a very significant project that may be coming. That will, and if it comes to fruition, then that will be a package that we will bring to this body for consideration. As I was explaining to Pastor Harris before the meeting, all of our incentives are in post-development property tax give-backs, so that way we know that you're really going to be here and we don't ever stroke a check out front and say, pick us and here's, X amount of thousands of dollars for you to pick us and come here, and maybe they do, maybe they don't, and you're in a situation where you're trying to do a clawback. So as we did with the hospital, a package similar to that, you'll probably be seeing, if we're picked, hopefully within 90 days, but maybe even up to as much as 180 days, I would suspect.
And they're performance-based, which is
Yes.
all the incentives.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, I do want to, and I always try to emphasize that to everybody that I speak with when we start talking about, these big projects is we've never, Daytona Beach's position has never been to, as I said, pick us and here, we're going to write you a check for picking us, but it's here, you come here, you produce the capital investment in the ground and invest in the people and provide the jobs, then we give you back your incentive.
Yeah, and communicating that is critical.
Yes.
The other
You know.
caveat with these incentives are they are usually a but-for situation that we wouldn't even consider these programs, but for the fact that we could lose this project to another location. So it is a competitive tool that we keep in our arsenal, not just to hand out randomly. There has to be a reason, a competitive reason that we are presenting these.
Great. I think given the environment, you mentioned things are slowing down. I think now's the time where the city has to, and all the government entities really need to be perhaps even more aggressive in attracting those opportunities.
Yes.
Katrina will attest to this. We've seen a slowdown of lead generation from the state entity, mainly because of the confusion of ending Enterprise Florida and putting it into what was the Department of Commerce, which is now called Florida Commerce, but then there's a DSO that's called Select Florida, which is the recruitment arm. So I think that's confusing a lot of site location consultants that don't know who really to contact. I actually received a call from one of the nation's top consultants because she didn't know who to contact in the state, which is an advantage for us, but still, it's a concern because a lot of other consultants are just not sure what's going on with the state of Florida.
Please.
And the state has, sorry, Jeff,
ahead, no
and the
problem.
state has their own programs that they offer for recruitment projects as well. Select Florida right now is focused on international projects, so when those domestic projects are coming from, let's say, another state to Florida, that's where the confusion comes in. Where is the representation at the state level? We are having a Q breakfast in May. And that Q breakfast is going to be a representative from Florida Commerce who is going to talk about all of these transitions and how it's going to look for economic development moving forward. But sadly, that is not until next quarter, May. If you want to be on the list to be notified for that Q breakfast, all you have to do is go to floridabusiness.org and sign up for the mailing list.
Very good. Jeff, anything else?
Yeah, so as Nancy talked about from the city side, because we will have some office space in the chamber building, myself and some other employees to be named at a later date will be housed there in that office space to assist the chamber for when folks come in, have questions about the cities and what do they need to do, what process do they need to follow at the city level. We're able to assist them directly right there as opposed to Nancy having to say, well, go up the street and go into City Hall and somebody can help you there.
Jeff, can I just say, I'm so glad you brought that up. I didn't know if I was allowed to talk about that. So, but we are really excited about, positioning the fact that the chamber and the city of Daytona Beach are really going to be working even closer hand in hand with having our economic development partners right in our building. We have a lot of people that walk in and need help and, rather walking them over here about permits and business and all of that. Having a one-stop shop for that is going to, I think, be really impactful. And we're really looking forward to expanding upon that. And what we provide out of our Business Resource Center will be really complemented by the work here with the city.
So we'll be doing that. As a result of some conversation that the city manager had with City Commission, Kim Flaherty, who is in our permits and licensing department, and myself have been named as the ombudsman for small businesses here at the city. So between the two of us, we can help guide small businesses through the city's processes that they may have to go through. And as a result of that, then the city manager has tasked a cadre of employees to come up with a small business summit. Probably in the springtime, we'll be hosting that at one of our facilities. We just got this task this week, but we will be meeting on Friday to kind of begin to formalize an all-day Saturday event. I say all day, 9 to 3 probably, event for anybody that wants to come in and learn about how to start a business. So we'll be having other folks come in. We're really probably just going to host it. We'll talk a little bit about the city processes, but the other things that you need to have in place to really open up and operate a small business. And that's it.
I would like to say something concerning that. I'm very interested in hearing that because of the many individuals that I deal with in the Midtown area that are interested in opening businesses and being able to have it, a lot of the red tape really, taken away so that people can be able to have access. I think this is excellent, and I'm really glad to hear this. So, sounds great.
I think the combining of having their office at the chambers, that's a great idea.
Great
That's
idea.
just, so many people come in and they just don't understand the process. And so to have that resource there, that's a super idea. So kudos for that one.
And in some cases, it's both them not understanding or they're coming in with a different type of business and trying to, in some cases, figure out our zoning code and what is allowed. And then when you have some of these new type of uses that our city code doesn't contemplate, how do we work within Florida statutes? And while you may call something, and I'll give you the example, the first one I had when I got here, and I hadn't been here that long, was I had an e-bike shop wanting to open up.
Okay.
Well, I go to planning and zoning and I say, hey, look, this guy wants to open up a bike shop. Oh, well, you can't put it in the zoning district. I go back to him, hey, you can't put your bike shop there. Well, why not? Well, because bike shops aren't allowed. Well, it's not really a bike. It's considered under Florida statute a vehicle that, oh yeah, by the way, is allowed in a zoning district. So it's sometimes not the private sector not understanding the government side. It's sometimes government side going, we have to change sometimes the way we perceive things.
Up your game.
Yeah. And how does this fit now into the, a new world, if you will?
Right. Good.
Very good. Anything else, Jeff? Yes, sir. All right.
Well, yep, one thing. So we have talked about speakers. I'm trying to get somebody here to talk about transportation. Probably have them here for December. Michael from Cobb Coal will be here to talk about the brownfields next month, so I may actually move transportation back to January. And I'm still trying to get Mr. Kelleher from the Speedway in here to talk about that if you really don't understand or really are tuned into the Speedway, about how many events they really do have at the Speedway. And it's not just a 2 or 3 time a year, 4 time a year, I'll call them the marquee events that they have. It is from January to December, they've got something going on out there at the Speedway, and the impact that it has on this community from an economic standpoint is, I think, is not fully understood. I didn't really understand it until we were at Leadership Daytona class this year, and he broke out the calendar, and it's like, wow, I did not realize the number of events that take place. And part of it is that they are monthly, and so you're not sometimes really thinking about the cumulative effect of those until you sit back and really look at it. But there is something going on at that facility. It's open to the public every year, or every month of the year.
It's amazing how, we live, as a crow flies, probably a mile and a half from the track. And how many nights and days you hear race cars in completely, unexpected times a year
Correct.
for race cars, so.
I think the Christmas lights start this weekend.
Right. Right. Okay, let's move on. Any old business that we need to attend to?
No, sir.
New business? Barring any new business, public comment? Welcome. Step on up.
Stop it. John Nicholson, Daytona Beach. Just brought up a subject. You're surprised at how much the Speedway happens and what's going on in the Speedway. The community thinks there's nothing happening at the Ocean Center. You hear that constantly. There's nothing happening. It's never booked. Why do we have it? Why are we doing these taxes, et cetera, et cetera? I'm suggesting to you that you may want to compare what we actually have. Because I brought up the City Commission, Bud Asher used to say, we have 5 Super Bowls every year and we don't pay a dime, all right? Because you have to pay for the Super Bowls to get to your city. We got 5 of them. We are now at a point we have 8 to 10, if you consider tourism in July as a major event, which I do. We have 10 major events throughout the year. Jeep Week is now 160 is a major event. The festival, 160 is a major event. So we don't realize what's happened to us in terms of special events and what's actually happening in our community. I'm aware of it, but nobody I know is aware of it. I keep pushing the idea that north of Main Street, the economics are changing drastically. House 2 doors down went on the market for $795. All right, he bought it for $350. In 6 months, he put it on the market for, $795. The house next door to me is $850. Now we're talking about like 5 years ago, the houses were in the $200,000 range. This is a drastic increase. On the beach side, I've mentioned we have 3. Well, once the Marriott Renaissance opens up, 4-star hotels. Bob Davis told me we will never have 4 stars because we're not that kind of a community. But we are changing. We are becoming that kind of a community. I was going to have my eye surgery. We're passing this apartment complex, and the woman driving the car said, she's a realtor. Oh, those apartments. They start at $4,000 a month. I thought $2,000 a month was high. Now we have in the city $4,000 a month. Things are changing. And so I'm asking you to be aware of that, especially north of Main Street, and to get that out to the community. Because we, singularly, or at the chamber or at the county, if you're involved in business, you see this stuff. You may not have put all the pieces of the puzzle together, but we see it happening. The public has absolutely no clue, all right? One of the gentlemen who just recently passed away once made a comment, well, the city's always been a poor black community. Well, it's never been a poor black community. Beachside at one time was extremely wealthy. It was the Palm Beach at one time. Then we were very, very secure as a tourist town, and then Disney came along. So we've gone up and down and up and down. We are at the point where we're up, so I'm asking you to allow the ability of the community to know where we're at and where we're going. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I think that's critical. We've got an element to the community that doesn't want to see that growth, and we need to keep pushing forward. And there are so many good things happening that I'd hate to see the momentum stop. Who pulls all of that together and disseminates all that information? Is there a public relations person within the city that does that? And I know the chamber has their role and they do that, but to pull everything together, it just seems like there might be some opportunity there.
So I can get with we have a communications team that puts out stuff for us, so I can get with.
We don't
and
hear
start
anything
to-
about the Ocean Center. The general public doesn't.
No, and John, just to let you know, that I did have them on the list of future speakers. I know they just got a new director. I was going to let them get in and get their feet on the ground and kind of figure out the lay of the land, and then bring them in probably sometime next year as well. Because John is right. There is, I think out of 52 weekends, I think they're booked 48,
Yeah,
I think it is.
it's amazing.
And John's right. I can't disagree with him that there's a lot of things that go on in there that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are closed events, so they're not open to the public. But there's a lot of things that are open that we probably need to work a
Right.
little more better with the county and get that information out.
The CVB compiles a list of those types of activities as well, so it just might be a link to their calendar that's on their site as well, so.
Yeah, very good. Okay, great. Any other public comment? Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for 8:30 a.m. December 20th. Great time of year to have a meeting. We'll see if we can get a quorum here that week.
I will not be here.
Okay.
Chairman, if the board wants to, unless something pressing comes along, because it is, and I did think
Yeah.
about that, that's really close. If the board wishes, we can cancel that meeting.
Yeah, I think we should consider that because, the 20th falls, what, on a Wednesday?
On a Wednesday.
And people are traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it might be wise to go ahead and not schedule a meeting with the understanding that if something pressing comes
Yes.
up, we'll pull it together.
I would suggest that is right now scheduled to be the second reading of the Silver Beach condo.
And that, exactly, so that city commission meeting Wednesday night is a critical meeting for people who are in support of the Silver Beach project to go out and attend and voice their support for the project because it's a critical project for that area, and I think it needs all the support we can throw its way.
That evening, I'm updating the city commission on Team Volusia as well.
I hope you're on the agenda before.
Please.
Before
I have
the
to-
Silver Beach.
I have
second
to ask
reading.
for a favor, please.
2.5 hours of planning board.
I've been through it, so
Yeah,
anyway.
bring it.
You may want to push that to January, Keith, just saying.
So, but no, I think I would encourage everyone who's in support of that project to attend the meeting and voice your support. Okay, with that,
So the final decision was not to do the meeting on the 20th?
Yeah, I'll say,
Yeah.
we can have a motion
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
do that, and so that way then it's official.
I'll make that motion.
okay.
We
We,
Suspend this December 20th meeting with the understanding that, if something comes up, we will come together.
very good. Can I have a second? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
So that will push our next meeting to January,
January 18th.
that's 23, so probably 19th, somewhere in there.
Oh,
So
oh,
it'll be-
oh, yeah,
But it's
yeah.
always the third
That's the
Wednesday of the month.
Right.
That'll be the 17th.
Okay,
17th, okay.
went the wrong way.
Okay.
Very good. That being said, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
All right.